everybody. Welcome to
Help! I hate my Kemper!
Should have been me that said that.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's our first episode of this, and we're hoping that everybody in Kemperland or anybody that's thinking about getting one is wanting to watch this and join in with us because, I mean, it's tongue-in-cheek. We don't really hate the Kemper. It's just sometimes people message me and say, "Oh, I'm struggling to find."
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Dude,
Well,
your phone and message apps are blowing up.
yeah, it's pretty crazy, you know. But
You have to start like setting aside Tone Wars time
Yeah.
and Jarrod time.
yeah, I kind of do. But I do get a lot of people reaching out to me and saying they love it. But I get some people, like Jeff here, reached out and said he's struggling to find his tone, his sound with it, and something that he likes. So
Well, let's tell him who Jeff is first.
yeah, so why don't Jeff tell us who he is?
Yeah.
I'm Jeff. So yeah, basically I've been playing guitar about like Jarrod since I was 18, and just been playing in several different bands. Played with another band a long time ago. We went on tour with Foghat and Angel X, or Sabotage, Quiet Riot, and 38 Special, and like as the opening band.
Okay.
And so then, life goes on, you settle down, and, you didn't obtain rock starness. And so then I started playing again and playing more, and I've been playing with a band. It's called Jet Black Auto, and we're out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we've been playing together for a while now, for a little over a year, and I've always played Marshalls. However, it's a struggle to bring in a big Marshall cab, a big Marshall head, and move those kinds of things around. So I've changed around a lot of things, and I've been wanting to get a Kemper to get my sound, to get more portable, to do some acoustic stuff, to do a lot of different things like that. And I'm like, this is going to be great. And so far it's been great. I've been excited with it, but I still haven't gotten back to kind of my Marshall tone and tones that, I mean, I'm still playing out, but I'm still dragging my amps around and stuff. And I want to get to the point where I'm just taking my Kemper and plugging in.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and like we had a couple of conversations on the phone about what you're struggling with, and I sent you, was it one tester? I think I sent you a tester.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to kind of see where you're at, so we can kind of find out, like, there's a baseline. So how far left or right or up or down do we go from there? And I got to give a shout out to Tim Warner from Live Ready Sound, who is definitely my favorite profile maker. Yeah. Great guy, super honest, very good at what he does. And so Tim offered to help, and he sent me an avalanche of profiles that we can go through tonight. And his knowledge in this area has been great. He's helped me a lot. So we're going to go through a bunch of those, and maybe even some other ones depending on what you need. You know what I mean? It's not just about doing just those, but we're just going to find... I just wanted to give a shout out to Tim because he was so helpful.
So this is going to be blind for Jeff, right? You have some Marshall tones in here,
yes,
but there's other things. So we're going to go through, present them all to him. He's not going to know, and we'll have him pick out either his very best favorite or 2 or 3 that are really good, and you could take home and tweak and make in your own.
Yeah, because Carrie's she's keeping track of everything.
Right.
So she's gonna score them all. So you're gonna score them. She's gonna keep track of that. We'll just narrow it down to the one that you like the best, and then we'll reveal what it is. Because one of the reasons when we talked over the phone about like why we're doing this is because we want you to listen with your hands and your ears as opposed to, well, I just want this, and it just doesn't work. Because I went through the same thing. I thought I wanted a certain amp profile when I got my Kemper, and every time I played it, there was things that were missing on it, and it just drove me nuts. So now I play through something completely different because I picked it with my ears and my hands, and I love it. So I'm perfectly happy because at the end of the day, you listen to it and you feel it. You don't look at it.
Right.
So.
Well, that's what, I don't know if you remember, one of our conversations was, it's like, well, I found this one that I really love how it feels. it's not the best sound, but I love how it feels.
Yeah.
And it was really, really good. And that's when we just like, well, there's other amps out there to try. And I was like, well, okay then.
Yeah, there's other amps, and it's amazing what you'll... The one thing that I love about the Kemper is it allows you to try all these different things that you never... Because you're not going to go buy a $4,000 amp to try it.
Exactly.
But on the Kemper, you'll turn a knob and try it, you know?
Yeah.
And so... and something that I noticed when we were down here, when I was listening to you play, you were on your neck pickup.
Yep.
So I wanted to point that out to everybody. So explain how you play and why you play that way.
So a lot of it kind of goes back to...
If I can interrupt one second, Ben asked, can Jeff detail his guitar specs? So go through the whole thing. What are you playing? What kind of strings you use? What pickups? And how'd you end up playing how you play?
So basically, it's the Monarch Majesty, and it's the 6-string version, which you play the 7-string version. Yeah. And this was kind of a dream guitar. I've got a lot of guitars. I've got some Tellys, I've got Gems, I've got a J Custom Ibanez, and some Les Pauls and things like that. And by far, this is the best guitar that I have found. It really, really is. For me, the reason I pick it over a lot of them is it does have a lot of growl to it. It's got a lot of versatility with the Paizo pickups. It's got, you know, I like the 30 dB boost, which I'll use sometimes.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing also is the weight of it. It is actually a fairly lightweight guitar, and if you play, you know, 2-hour show or whatever standing up, the other guitarist in our band plays nothing but Les Pauls, and he will get done at the end of the show and just be like, I need to stretch and stuff. And
yep, they're bricks. You know, those things are super light, but they sound huge and fat. So
yeah, it's basically this is the Monarch Majesty. So they've got the two different versions, the Majesty and then the Monarch Majesty. So it's all it's all mahogany with maple top and stuff.
Yeah.
I use Elixir strings. 9s is what I prefer. It's just kind of what I've started on. This originally come with 10s, but I prefer the 9s. Other than that, that's about it for the guitar.
Well, let's go over the signal chain because I'm doing something different tonight.
Sure. Now, do you want to say hi to some people too?
Yeah. Sure. 1 second.
Sure.
Let me get this off my brain.
He's got to get it out.
Got to get it out. Okay. So tonight, as usual, when I have people over here, they play through the Friedman ASC 12. It's right in front of us. Probably. What do you say? About 8 feet away? 9 feet away?
5 feet.
Yeah, something like
6 or
that.
7 foot.
Okay.
5 to 9 feet away.
I'm telling fishing stories here. All right. So and I got it loud enough to where he can feel it, and it sounds good. It's a good volume. And what you're going to do tonight is you're going to hear it. So I have a nice mic in front of it, and it sounds really good. And I figured, why not do that tonight? And if you guys like how it sounds, we'll keep it up. If not, we'll go to the direct tone.
Right.
So let us know. Let
Yeah.
us know. Yeah, so that's what you're hearing tonight. Is a really nice mic. It's kind of a flatter kind of room mic.
Yeah.
You know, I don't remember the
I forgot
model
to look.
number.
Paul, if you're watching.
Yeah, Paul Raymond let us use his mic. It's a studio mic tonight, and he suggested this for an FRFR cab. And honestly, I just stuck it there and played, and I was like, this sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna let it go tonight. And so we'll do that, and so basically what we're going to do before Carrie says hi to everybody is so the Kemper is going into the sound system and out to the direct feed, just so you guys know if you want to hear a direct feed, that's what you'll be hearing. If not, you'll be hearing the Friedman cab mic'd with a really good flat kind of mic. And again, I took my one ear out and checked and made sure it was like a good representation of the tone, and it sounds really good. So so go ahead and say hi to everybody, and
all right,
we'll get started.
Start checking in. We've got warm chord music.
Hey Jay, what's going on?
He says, help, I hate my line 6 spider.
That's funny.
Aaron Short is with us. Hi.
What's up, Aaron?
And Ben, of course, asked about the guitar specs. Right, we've got, I always say it's Vocal Pathfinder, but it's
what's going on, man?
Chad Boston is here. Hi, Chad.
Hey, Chad. How you doing?
Let's see. Ooh, Berserkerland Studios. Berserkerland Studios.
Oh.
There we go. I've
Cool.
had my power head for about 2 weeks now, and I found that it really brings out the difference in pickups and different guitars. I like it more and more every day.
Yeah.
Aaron Lucas is
they're
here. Help, I hate the Line 6 echo chamber. One more comment from Ben. Do you play the neck pickup more than the bridge pickup? Seems like a surefire way. Let's see, I lost my place. To excess flubbery. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about that. So,
well,
like,
we started to, yeah.
Yeah, so, and we'll have an open conversation with it. So basically, when I heard you playing, I was like, that sounds duller than I'm used to hearing it. And I looked over, and you were on your neck pickup, and I was like, you know, sometimes nerves get the best of us and whatever, and I figured, well, maybe you forgot that you were on that, but that's actually what you play on. So I will say that, and I said this to you like off camera too, like you're one of the very few people I've met that does that. Doesn't mean it's wrong. There's no right or wrong, but I will say that these profiles, I would say 99% of the profiles that you get will be tested on both pickups, but for rhythm, they're most likely going to be tested primarily on the bridge pickup.
Okay.
Because it gives you that nice chunky cut and that nice aggressive, sound, where the bridge pickup or the neck pickup is typically a lot more muted because of the tonal differences. It's a little more, it's duller, and I hate to sound. I don't mean that in a derogatory way. It's just a duller pickup, and a lot of times it's made for, like, when you're soloing past the 12th fret, you're shredding and you want that liquidy, nice, soft, smooth kind of solo. So just so you guys know, that's what we're listening to tonight. But Jeff did agree that, we're going to do both for you guys, so you guys can hear them. And because who knows, you might find something that you really like on that pickup and be like, well, I'll just do that.
Exactly.
So,
and I've done that. It's like as I was playing with it, there's some profiles that are very fantastic on the bridge, but not so much on the neck and stuff.
That's why.
Yeah. See, and I think one of the reasons I play a lot on here is because we do a lot more. Because we play bars and stuff, so we do a lot more classic rock. So we're doing like 70s and 80s and stuff, and a lot of that was done a lot more on the bridge, so you do got that more of a duller sound.
On the bridge or the neck?
Or on the neck.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
okay.
And it kind of, I think a lot of that harpens back to the old-fashioned days when Les Pauls had rhythm, had treble, and rhythm was the bridge or the neck, and treble was the bridge, and that's where, when you're playing a lot of the old Les Paul-y kind of stuff, anytime you're playing rhythms, you're playing that neck.
Okay, I think a lot of people use it the opposite now. That's what I've seen.
They
flipped it around.
That's the other thing is, I don't know if they did it now, but I know like in 2016, 2017, Gibson actually removed that ring.
Yeah.
So they quit doing that because they realized a lot of people were pigeonholing into that. So, but it's just.
Well, we also want to say thank you to Jeff for bringing us.
Yes, he brought us a really nice whiskey.
Right, if you're going to be a guest of the show, this is the way to give it, right? Yeah, what was the brand of the peanut butter whiskey?
It's Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey.
Oh my goodness, you guys.
It's really good.
So amazing.
Really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess everybody's waiting, so let's get started.
We also have a super chat already, Chad Boston.
Chad, thank you, Chad.
Thank
you very much. Appreciate it immensely. That means the world to us.
Oh, yeah. We can do shirts, too.
Do shirts, and I'll get set up here.
We've got our T-shirts. Our guest is reminding us of what we've got going on. For $25, $20 for the T-shirt, $5 for shipping. We have size small through XL of our Tone Wars T-shirts. And then we still have one bowling shirt left. Button up with the collar. This is the only one left. It's an XL. It is our first run. It will be classic Tone Wars at some point.
We have new ones coming soon.
Right. So for $45, $40 for the shirt, $5 for shipping. This one is available as well. You can email Jarrod your size and mailing address, and then he can accept, like, is it the PayPal?
Yeah, I do PayPal.
PayPal.
I'll post my email in this episode afterwards. I'm sorry I forgot to do it beforehand.
That's all right. We also have another super chat from Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
He says, thanks for everything. Bowling shirt has really opened up my tone. Harmonics really cut through since he started wearing it.
You're right, man. They're amazing.
Oh, and then Jamie Trevino has the flu. He's here in spirit.
Oh, man. Dude, sorry to hear that. Well, I hope you feel better. Well, hopefully these tones will make you feel better. So let's get started. Everybody's waiting. Let's get started with our first tone. So what we're going to do is I'm going to mute this mic. This is our talking mic. And I'll unmute the guitar mic so that we can get started. So what Jeff's going to do is just play enough riffs to tell him whether or not he likes this, or you can make changes.
Okay.
If you want me to make changes, I'll do that because that's what we do. So if you have something that has a lot of character and a lot of stuff that you like, and you just want a little more of this or a little less of that, I'm your chef. I'll cook it up the way you want.
Okay.
And then just so everybody knows too, this isn't a shred fest. This isn't about let's play the best stuff when I go to the music store, I play the worst riffs in the world. I'm just playing stuff that tells me things. You know what I mean? So that's what we're doing. So I'm just going to alleviate you of any pressure of being like, Ingrid Melstein! Yeah, so you're just doing stuff to figure out whether or not it works. So let me mute the mic and turn on the other mic, and we're going to go.
Okay.
You like that one?
I do. I like that one.
All
it's how do I describe it? It's got that.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
No, it's got a good bass to it. It's got a really good. Like I say, I kind of like even both pickups.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that was actually a fairly decent one. That would be something I would probably like to really explore more.
Well, let's explore it. What do you want more or less of?
Oh no, just as it is.
Just as it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was.
So you like it as is?
Yeah, that's definitely going to be one that we kind of come back to in the finish. If I had to give.
Well, dang, Tim, you're amazing.
Right off the bat.
Yeah. You just sent me these.
Are we rating these 1 to 10?
Yeah, let's rate it 1 to 10.
Let me give that one because that's kind of a strong one to start on. An 8.
An 8?
Okay.
Yeah, all right. We'll take it.
So he's leaving room for improvement in case he finds something else.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to another one. And now, what's the gain structure like? You like the gain structure there?
Yes, that's
pretty good.
Yeah, that was really good. It's crunchy. It's not when you get too much gain, then I'm not a real high gain person. So
oversaturated kind of mess. Gotcha. Okay, so let's try this one here. Let me go ahead and mute.
I gotta be able to see. Does it?
I'll do that.
Okay, there we go.
Does that help you? Mm-hmm. All right. Sorry. Here we go. Okay, so you want me to turn the presence down?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll turn it down a little bit. Okay, go ahead.
That one, it's that I want to call it too hot. Just it's kind of a.
Oh, look at you taking notes.
It's kind of high pitched. Just off the bat, it's not what I would go for. So I'd probably give that like a 3 or a 4.
Okay.
Which one you want to do?
3.
3.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's do.
Warm Chord Music said we should get Tone Wars shot glasses, and I totally agree.
Dude.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Good
that
merch choice.
sounds like a good idea because.
Tone Wars beer mugs?
Oh, Tone
Beer
Wars beer
glasses?
mugs.
Yeah.
Because we are definitely loving.
I asked the
stuff.
guys how everyone is liking the mic sound versus the direct to the board.
Okay.
I'm going to say it wrong again. Berkster Kurland Studios.
Direct
Berserker.
sounds rough.
Yep, direct sounds rough, no air, and it has a fizzy distortion. Derek agreed. Ben sounds like 70s rock. Sound is okay.
Okay, so I'll go to the direct. You know what I mean? I'll go to the direct sound.
Maybe do each for the same tone. So
Okay,
we can
let's do
tell.
that. So
Yeah.
first one will be the mic for the cab, and the next one will be direct.
Can you make that big?
Yes. So I will do that now. So let's go to the direct sound. Go ahead. I'm sorry. This is the cab mic. Sorry. Go ahead. Okay, this is going to be direct. Go ahead. That sounds better to me.
Okay, so chime in about either the direct or the mic.
I think we can stick with the direct. I think they're going to like that better. I do.
Jamie Trevino says everything he's hearing sounds like junk. The stream is plugged into my system.
Interesting.
Aaron Lucas, Jarrod, have you tried the free Glenn Doonan Marshall preset that he put up on the Kemper Facebook page? He used it quite a bit live last night.
Glenn, no. I'll have to check it.
Warm Chord Music says direct sounds a little less muffled.
Okay.
Sounds like an old crate POS. Direct sounds much better from Ben at the high end is gone from the mic sound.
All right, let's do direct from now on.
Yep,
all right,
direct
thanks guys.
better.
Appreciate it. This is our first time micing that cab, so excuse me, I'll be micing the cabs for our shootout, but I'll spend more time positioning it. Tonight was a test.
So direct we're going.
Direct we're going. Okay, so here is the next one. Do you already got that in?
I have, but I don't have his rating for the third one.
Well, we haven't rated it yet because we were just testing mics. So wait, hang on. Let me go and... All right, go ahead.
That one's a lot like the first one. That's kind of, or not the first one, the second one.
Oh, okay.
That one was hotter. That's, it's got a good deep sound, like the crunchier, deeper chords, but the higher ones are too high.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and what do you score it?
Maybe 5.
Okay. All right. So let's go and find. All right, we played a couple in there. Let's go into this territory. This is a different kind of territory here that I think might suit you. Okay, let me mute the mic and go ahead. Okay, so what'd you think of that one?
I like this one better.
Okay.
This one, well,
I kind of figured you would.
this one,
These are some of my favorites in here.
yeah, this has got a great feel to it. This is, some of them feel, but that's the thing is they feel different. This is responsive. It's still a little harsh, but it's different. But I would score this one because of the feel. I'd match it with the first one and give it an 8.
All right, so let's give this one an 8. And then what we can do is adjust it.
Okay.
I think we should adjust this one because you liked it and you said it was a little harsh.
Yeah.
So what we could do is take some of that out just by turning the presence down.
So you said this was an 8, though?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, so let's make some adjustments. So I'll turn the presence down a little bit. And what else would you like?
Maybe, maybe some more mids. Just a little bit more.
Okay. All right. All right, so go ahead.
That bumped it up to a 9.
Oh,
All right.
So we're
I'll
at a
take
9.
it to a 9.
See, that's what I mean. Like some of these is like, it's just like an amp in a store.
Yeah.
It's just sitting there with its knobs wherever they're at, and then you play it, and you're like, oh, I don't want it. It's like, well, turn the knobs.
Chad said to mess with the cables. Something's off. I don't know.
I don't know what would be off. I'm looking at the signal right here,
Yeah.
and I'm seeing everything. Everything looks like it should as far as what I'm seeing. I can't hear the feed because I'm not in it. Obviously, I'm on this side of it, but yeah, I don't know.
Berserkland Studios says, have him dig in with the pick. Sounds like he is mic shy.
Yeah, dig into that sucker, man. Let's go ahead.
This is really responsive. That's
Okay, let's hear some chords. Play some big chords. Okay, so let's put an overdrive on it. Hang on one second. Okay, there's just a little bit of juice on this. Let me just juice it a little more. Go for it.
I don't know if I like it with the overdrive on.
Okay, we'll turn it off.
I mean, that'd be better for solo.
Yeah, I use it for everything, but everybody's different.
Yeah.
I like very tight percussive, rhythms when I'm playing, and then when I play solos, I like that fullness. I like that attack and that support. Because when I'm soloing, I have a light touch because you can't go fast and hard. You can only go fast or hard. So I lighten up on the touch, and I gotta give up, brutality, for speed. So I like it for both. But like I said, everybody's different. So this is a 9.
Yeah.
This is a
All
9.
right.
Okay. So I think we're in the right family of amplifier
Okay.
profiles now. Because if you're at a 9 here, I think we're onto something. So, I mean, would you feel comfortable taking this out on the stage with you?
Yeah, that's one of the first one. Those two are really good. Can we do the first one again?
Yeah. 1 second. Let me mute it.
To laugh.
Oh, yeah, sure. Sorry about that.
I don't know. That one's a good one too.
Oh, yeah, they're both good. You know, I played some of these when Tim sent them over, so I was like, well, I'm pretty sure, I was pretty much positive we were gonna be able to find you something tonight, you know, and
yeah, that's pretty good too. It doesn't have the feel of the other one. The other one's got a much better feel.
Okay.
But kind of like the growly gritty of this one.
Okay. All right. Well, the thing is, you can add that, and like I said before, like with an overdrive, overdrives cover a multitude of sins.
Right.
They really do. I mean, you can take any amp almost, as long as like it's in the family of amplifiers that you play live. You slap an overdrive in front of it, and it'll fix everything usually. You know,
Okay.
and once you learn how to sculpt it for your tone and get used to playing with it. It's one of those pedals that once you take it away, you'll be like, oh, I want it back. It literally is. Like, you know.
Are you talking about using that for the tone or for the response?
For the feel.
The feel?
It helps with feel. You know,
right.
it adjusts your tone in very subtle ways, you know. But it is noticeable, but it's not as noticeable as how it adjusts how it feels.
Right.
Because, there's a lot of, like, I love Mesa Boogie amps, but Duorex are flubby, tubby amps. They sound amazing, but they're really flubby. You slap an overdrive in front of it, it's no longer flubby. Because if it's the tone you like, it's the feel you don't,
right.
Overdrive
okay.
fixes it every time.
Well, see, and that's something we were talking about. So my Marshall amps are 4 channels. So I don't usually use an overdrive pedal because I can dial in 4 different tones, and that's all I've ever really needed, when you're lugging around. And for me, for years, 4 different channels, that gets you a lot. Now I'm moving into the Kemper world, and it's like, whoa, I've got way many more options and choices.
Well, it gets confusing, but it's also a great thing because, you have to live by the rule of just because you can doesn't mean you should,
Right.
So there is that, but there's also everything in moderation, and then there's also the thing where it's like, why the hell not? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So you mix that all together, and you find your way around it all, and you end up finding what works great for you, and it opens up doors for you that you've never went through, because a lot of times we're not going to go to the store and spend $200-300 on a pedal that it's like, I don't know if I'm going to like this or not. You don't have to do that here. You just turn a knob and pick it and go, if you don't like it, just turn the knob again, you know, and it gives you all these options that you might not be used to using. And just because that feels a little foreign to you at first, it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It might. I've had people even say, oh, that's too much. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean it's too much? You ever rode the Lightning before? It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of nice to have something, to get an amp, slap it on the rear end, and have that thing take you for a ride, and like be able to wield that power and to take those notes and grab them and get that aggression and play things that you've never played before. You're looking for something that inspires you, that just draws things out of you that you never knew you had, and that's what this is about, as opposed to you having to draw things out of the amp that it can't give you.
Right.
There's the difference.
Yeah, see, and that's pretty much what I had to do with the Marshalls is, so I've got 4 channels, and I can get them set up and dialed in and take them where I want to, but like we were talking, like, so we even play like some old Tom Petty and things like that. Well, I'm playing that through a Marshall amp, and it's just, doesn't have the best Tom Petty sound, but it works.
Works, yeah.
Yeah. And that's where I've been like with the Kempers, like, okay, well, for the 2 Tom Petty songs, I can probably just throw in an AC30 or something in there, and it'll work. But still, a majority of my sound is that I've always loved the Marshall grit, but so like I say, but amp 3, I've never had a Marshall feel like that. That responds.
Yeah.
It's got a great sound and it's gritty, but it really, really feels good.
Well, that's what you want, because here's the thing, we discussed this before in a previous episode. You can fix tone to a degree. I mean, if something has decent tone and you just need to dial some knobs to fix it, great. But if an amp feels like crap, even when you put an overdrive in front of it, which is rare, but it can happen, or if it just doesn't feel the way you want it to, you can't fix that. It's just, it is what it is. So if you got an amp that feels amazing and the tone might be a 7 out of 10, I'm telling you, you turn the knobs and you turn that 7 into a 10 almost every time. Okay. And honestly, too, like, there's no such thing as a 10. You know why? Because what's a 10 like for me on an amplifier this month? Next month I'll find another one that's,
well,
that's
and not
great.
even just the time, but to someone else. There's a lot of chatter on here about, it doesn't sound good to them, but it's not their sound. It's not their. It's
well, they're
so
not in the room.
Subjective and personal, and this was meant for him.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So I get it.
Yeah, I gotta say that's the thing too, is for what I do in classic rock on stage. That's. You have to think I'm going after kind of an AC/DC, like we talked. So I've got a female singer we were doing Joan Jett. We're doing, some Lita Ford, some of those things, Pat Benatar. So
that might have thrown a monkey wrench to him as well, because we can't do covers, and he plays cover band, and so we're like, you can't play what you normally play. Pick out right.
Yeah. So that's why you'll also see me hitting some of the sounds, especially that D sound that I get, is I'm trying to hit individual notes around there so I can hear the clarity of the different D, or like if you're going A minor or A sus4 or whatever. I want to, because a lot of them will do those subtle changes, so I want to hear that in there. So
tire kicking riffs are never fun.
They're not.
They're more just they're more functional type riffs to get you through it. So, I mean, so basically where we're at is we have you on amp number 3, or what was it?
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, number 3. That was really good. I mean...
No, we're on 4. The fourth one is the one he liked.
Okay, so that was the one you liked.
He liked the first one and the fourth one.
All right, so let's go back to that family of amps.
Okay.
And we're going to find... Let's see, what is that one?
Keith Vartanian, hello from Livonia. Hi, Keith. And I saw Paul. Paul Smith said he finally made it. Hi, Paul.
Hey, Paul. How you doing? Paul will be here in a couple weeks.
Darren West says he's changing his name to Helix Fanboy. Oh, come on.
That's funny.
There's 33 people watching. Hi, 33
awesome.
people.
Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for stopping by. We really appreciate it.
Say hi if you haven't.
So let's do this. Let me finagle this a little bit. This is the one that you like the best. All right. So.
Vince Smith is from Livonia. Nice. There's 2 people from Livonia in there.
Sweet.
All right, we got a new one. You got to make it big so I can...
The same one.
Oh, it's the same one. We're tweaking.
I'm just going to tweak it a little bit.
All right. Hi, Manny.
Let's put that there. A little bit of mids. All right, so go for it. Too much mid.
Or too much. It's too much of something.
All right, let me put it all back. All right, go for it.
Yeah, I think we turn down the presence some.
Okay, here you go.
I love how that feels. That feels so good.
Yep.
But I still like the sound of the first one better. It's the sound.
The sound of how it was originally, or the first sound that
the
you tried?
first one, the first amp. I like the tone of it. There's the tone of it.
Okay.
But I like the feel of this one so much better.
Yeah, well, then I would say, if you're asking my opinion, I would stick with this one and tweak the knobs, because your hands have to be happy.
Yeah.
You know, because if
Paul Smith said maybe there's too much gain.
We can let's try that.
Yeah.
Let's turn down the gain, and 1 second.
Sebastian says too much compressed. I don't know if that makes...
YouTube compresses
YouTube
everything.
does
It
compress
really
it,
does.
yeah.
But we'll see. Hang on 1 second. Go ahead.
I just have to play with that one. Like I say, still feels fantastic. I love how that plays. It is so responsive to everything, but it's...
Let me turn the overdrive back. Well, the overdrive helps how it feels. I'm going to turn it on and off while you're playing and see how much it affects your tone. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't notice much on the tone.
Yeah, it doesn't change it that much. No. That's what I mean. They just help how everything feels, typically. I mean, yeah, it'll change your tone a little bit, but...
well, then, can we go back to the first one and put an overdrive in front of it?
Sure. Yeah, we can do that. Which one is that? That's the DVL. Okay. 1 second here.
Fox Pathfinder says put a compression pedal in front of the one you like the tone.
Yeah, it depends on your gain structure. Sometimes you want that. Sometimes...
Half-hashed is in the house.
Half-hashed. What's up? How you doing? 65 MAV 31. Almost there, guys. I'm almost there. There it is. DVL 65.
Don't forget, we're selling the t-shirts. We still have t-shirts for sale. T-shirts are $20 plus $5 shipping, so $25 total. We have small, medium, large, and extra large in the t-shirts. And we have one bowling shirt left that's a button-up. $40 for the bowling shirt plus $5 shipping. You can email Jarrod your size and mailing address.
Yes, I'll put my email in the stream afterwards. All right, I found this, and it's got a very subtle overdrive. If you want more, let me know. Here we go. Okay, so you like it with the overdrive?
Yeah, that
Okay.
really improved a lot of the response.
Do you want to change it if you had it as an 8?
Well, now it's a 9
Now
with
it's
the
a
other
9.
ones. We got 2 9s, but that's why I say that.
All right,
but
so let's do this. Let's do this. This is where my brain goes. Let's make the overdrive a little less subtle. All right.
Okay.
Go ahead. What's that?
Up in the higher or the lower registries, I don't like it. It sounds good down here, there. Remember that one profile? That's where I was kind of saying it's something up here in E. I don't.
Try it again. Try it with your bridge pickup.
Yeah, that's much better with the bridge.
Yeah, so really what I would suggest humbly is switching to your bridge pickup on these, because these are made for that. And honestly, if you want your rhythm, I'm a sound guy too, so I like run sound live for bands. I've ran sound for our band and for many other bands when we played with them with our own system. And I had a situation with a guitar player like 4 years ago where he was like, I can't. I'm running sound, so I got my iPad here running sound out, and I'm like looking at him. I'm like, he's playing, but I can't hear anything he's doing. So I went up there and I was like, hey, I'm seeing you got signal here. I can see your signal, you know. But I said, I can't hear a darn thing you're playing. I said, what do you got going on here? Let me hear you play it by yourself. Stopped the band. He played. He was on his neck pickup. And I was like, okay, so if you... I just told him, I said, look, here's the thing. If you want the audience to hear you, switch to your other pickup.
Yeah.
And he had his treble rolled almost about halfway down.
I keep mine rolled up.
Exactly. But what happens is it's muddy.
Right.
So what happens is you're kind of mushed into the mix, and there's all your pick attack's gone, all your chuggies, you know, when you're chugging, keeping, you know, giving that song energy, chugging on the low E and stuff like that, just like what you were doing earlier. And you're like, I don't like how this sounds. Well, the reason why is it's muddy. Okay. So as soon as you switch to your bridge pickup, what's going to happen is all that muddiness goes away. You get that clarity that we all want, and you get the aggression and the attack and the fullness, and you'll sit out in the mix, because no matter how loud a sound guy pushes you, all you're going to hear is mud. You know.
See, now that's one of the things. So why is that different on my regular amp? Because see, it's that. I mean,
I don't know.
It's something. See, I've never had to do that before, and actually, that's one of the other things is we've had that same problem because we got 2 guitarists.
Yeah.
But it's always been they couldn't hear the other guitarist. They always hearing me.
I don't know. I really don't know.
So, but that could be
that's foreign to me, because I mean, typically if you're on that pickup, it's muted. It's a more muted, you know, rounder pickup. So, if a sound guy's pushing you, well, the problem is when he pushes you, he's pushing all the stuff that comes with it, which is that a lot of muddy kind of low end.
Right.
And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. What I mean is that all of it goes up. Whereas if you are on the bridge pickup, what's going to happen is you're going to cut through the mix naturally.
Right.
So he doesn't have to push you, and there's no mud. And typically a sound guy is going to do a high and low pass filter on you, and he's going to grab that 4K and pin drop it down about 2 dBs, and then you're good. That's typically what we do. That's our go-to template. And you guys that run sound and are guitar players, you know that. Sound off, you know. I mean, that's kind of what you do. High and low pass, pin drop at about 4 to anywhere between 4 and 5K. And it takes care of all the stuff that guitars don't do well. Right. You know what I mean? So it saves room for the kick drum, the toms, the snare, and the bass player, and the vocalist, you know. So that's basically what we do. So I would suggest, because as soon as you switch to the bridge pickup, everything
sounded better. Yeah,
it sounded a lot better.
And that's what I've found that with a lot of the profiles too, through the, you know, that's why I say I've been having trouble. So it's basically because playing my old way, which is, you know, primarily up here, I'm not finding the tone that I'm after.
Yeah.
And I'm finding it more down here, and that might be...
Could be why.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this. Where do you have your treble and presence on your Marshall right now, your Marshall amp at home?
Presence is probably about 6 or 7, and treble, I actually turn it down some.
Okay.
So and I turn the bass is up, mids are up, and the treble I do turn down, not all the way, but
Is it below 12 o'clock?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, but your presence is above 12 o'clock?
A little bit.
So maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock?
Yeah, and then I've also got I've got resonance as well. So I do put more, which is the bass end.
Yeah.
But I got more resonance on.
Okay. There. Yeah, I'm surprised, especially in a 2 guitar player band. I'm surprised you're heard. You know what I mean? Because usually, you know, I was in a 2 guitar player band before too, and if I switched to my bridge pickup, I would have disappeared. I would have completely disappeared.
See, a lot of times they find I dominate the sound of the other guy. So
honestly, this is the first I've ever heard that.
Oh yeah, no,
honestly,
we do that. And so he's playing Les Pauls and through a Marshall as well.
Okay.
So his is a different Marshall, but.
By the way, they're saying this is really good learning.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, that's why I'm going down this road, because I want people to learn.
Yep. It's a fantastic learning experience in dialing in with low to mid-gain tones and different playing styles.
Good. That's why we're doing this, you know, I mean, because it's conversations like this, and this is why I had the idea of doing this, because when Jeff called me, or you emailed me first, and I just said, let's do a show.
Yeah.
So that, like, we can all learn together here, but also you guys are a fly on the wall, per se, you know, and get to learn from this as well. Because the thing is when you're approaching profiles, I've talked to Tim, I've talked to other profile makers and stuff like that. There are things that they keep in mind when they're dialing in profiles. They're going to check the profile, because when you do a profile on here, you refine it.
Right.
So you refine it on a certain guitar with certain pickups on it. Not only certain types of pickups, but on certain pickup on the guitar, like the bridge pickup. Like if I was to make a profile, I would never refine it on a bridge pickup or a neck pickup. And I would never do it. And anybody that's watching this that makes profiles, please sound off and let me know what you do. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. But I wouldn't, you know, and that doesn't mean that I'm the god of profiling and I know everything. All I'm saying is I just wouldn't do that. Now I know, big shocker, right? But conversely, though, if I was to refine a profile on the neck pickup, it would be shreds. I would do the shreds with it, and I would go as fast as I can, make sure the clarity's there, the support's there, and make sure that it represents the amp well.
Right.
So I would do rhythm on the bridge pickup and leads on the neck pickup.
Is your Marshall amp, did you customize that at all with anything that would bring out the highs? Or
No, the only thing so I've got on my pedal board for the Marshall is basically going into the distortion is I got a compressor, then I've got something for my acoustic if I'm going to run through my acoustic, and a noise gate. and then right into the Marshall, and then it's coming out the FX loop. Then I'll go through like reverb. Oh, I do have a wah in front of there, but then I've got a reverb or chorus, delay, reverb, and pretty standard stuff, and then back into the power amp. So that's kind of, I've never, like I say, I've tried. That's where we talk about. I've tried different overdrive pedals in front of it, but it was like, well, I just didn't, and it's probably I didn't spend enough time figuring it out or messing with it, because it was just much easier to go to the amp. Okay, I want this channel to do this, I want this channel to do this, and I want this channel to do that, and then I'm done and I'm able to go where I want to. But so there was, when you were talking about you can't hear other guitarists, this is what was funny is I was sitting there. So like we talked last week, I went to see Skid Row, or not Skid Row, but Sebastian Bach, and the opening band for him, and I sat there and I was like, is it just the house he's in? So the opening band, they have 2 guitarists.
Yep.
And I could watch and I could see the other guy playing something, riffing something, and I'm just like, I don't hear you at all. I could not hear him. The other guitarist never had an issue, never had any problem hearing, but I could never hear that one.
Maybe it was a sound guy thing too.
Well, that was my thought too. I was like, well, did he piss off the sound guy or something? And then, when Sebastian Bach came out, stuff, those guys sounded great. They were, so it wasn't the house, or at least their sound system or where I was at. It was, but there was something I could not hear that other guitarist.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they just have an amp that doesn't cut, and that's the thing that people say, sometimes, oh, that sounds trebly, or it's like, yeah, but there's a reason for it, because what matters most when you're picking a profile is how does it sound in a mix.
Right.
Because it could sound, it could sound great by itself, but then you disappear on stage, and that's not what you want. You want something. I'll give you guys an example. Okay, when I dial in my delay for my solos, okay, when I play them by themselves, it's too much.
Horrible. Yeah.
It does not.
No, it does. It sounds horrible. Well,
No.
I was just going to say the same thing. Whenever you come to me with a new sound, and I'm like, no, it's love this, it's that. And he's like, but listen to it in a mix, Carrie.
Yeah.
And then it makes sense.
Well, it's just like your vocals, too.
Yeah.
Like when we're in a room talking, and she's got all the echo going. It's like, it's too much by itself. But when she's singing in the song, what you're hearing is all her notes just kind of, they go out there and then they just kind of gradually just die a glorious death in between the next one. You know what I mean? And that's what my solos do. It's just like you want it to spin around the room. So
although you wouldn't have heard that on our last Anastasia episode.
Yeah, we'll fix it. So I say this to say, because when you're dialing in a guitar tone, you want that a little bit of edge, that little bit of, not too much, but a little bit of like, oh, let's just pull it back a little. No, that's the part that makes you cut through a mix.
So now let me ask you this. So going into the solo part, because I've always typically used, okay, I'll flip to this one for the solo because I'm definitely cutting through everything.
Yeah.
But the other thing I'll do, which I was going to add, so I'll hit this, which gives you the 30 dB boost.
Yeah.
But that also pushes the distortion harder.
Yes.
And I don't know, I find it tightens it up. Well, it depends on what you're doing.
Depends on what you're doing, but it gives you, it's kind of a gooey boost, because I have the same guitar. So I prefer the overdrive. That's pretty much like if you're out on a catwalk and you forgot you hit your overdrive and you got a solo coming up, that'll save you. Okay. But you want an overdrive pedal, because the thing is, the great equalizer in amplifiers is a good overdrive pedal.
Okay.
If I was to go on tour next week and they said you can only bring one pedal with you, I would bring an overdrive and say sayonara to all the other ones. And yeah, I'd be bummed out I can't bring them all, but I am not going on tour or on stage without an overdrive pedal. It's not because I suck, it's not because you suck. It's not about us.
Right.
It's about what we need the amp to respond like when we're playing. So you have to have one. So
you can hear you got to think of it as the audience member and stuff.
Sure. Well, not only that, but as a player, like I love. Okay, so this is gonna sound really snobby, but I don't care. I'm just gonna say it anyways, because the guys that understand what I'm saying here totally agree with me. I'm just gonna say it. Show me a guy who says I don't need an overdrive pedal, and I'll show you a guy who can't play good enough to have one.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't need my car to go 200 miles an hour. Well, because you don't go 200 miles an hour. You don't go around a track and hug corners, you know what I mean, and drift around tracks that fast because you don't have the skill set to do so. And I know this sounds really cork sniffy snobby, but the thing is the purists out there that are like, my amp does this and I don't need all that. It's like, well, let me hear you play. And as soon as I hear them play, I'm like, okay, you're not playing in a way that requires that yet. But when you get to that level, you will need it. You will go, I'm doing all this stuff and my amp just doesn't have the juice. It's not keeping up with me. I've surpassed my amp's abilities. So you add that pedal and now the amp is up to your level again.
Well, I think also is what's different. So now, like, I used an overdrive and I'm fine. So, like, again, I totally used the overdrive pedal wrong because we had talked about that.
I did it before too.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I got rid of it. So I could play if you take the amp and turn it to clean or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'd use the distortion basically from the overdrive pedal.
Yeah.
And that, for me, that was good. I'd like that crunchy sound and stuff like that. But again, I was kind of like, well, why do I have this here on my board if I can just get it off my amp?
Yeah.
And where you were doing the overdrive here,
it's different.
It's different. It's not...
Well, what you do with an overdrive is you dial it in this way. This is the best starting point. Gain all the way down, tone in the middle, volume almost all the way up is what I do because I'm a metal guy, but you can adjust it to whatever your thing is. If you're dialing in gain on your overdrive pedal because your amp doesn't have enough, that's fine. But if your amp has a little bit of extra juice, let the amp do the work and let the pedal sculpt it and tighten it up and make it more responsive. That's what I suggest. And the other thing too is like a lot of mistakes that people make with overdrives is they don't turn the gain down on the amp.
Right.
See, because what a lot of people do is like, well, if I want to do a lead, I'll just turn the gain all the way up or almost all the way up or whatever. But the problem is you're getting this gooey, flubby, you know what I mean? It's not. It's still not very responsive. It's just messy and gooey and it's just sloppy sounding. So if you tighten up the amp, turn the gain down, and attenuate for that, now you got yourself a killer tone and a responsive amp that works for you. And purists will always, I'm sure there's probably some in here right now, I don't need an overdrive. Good for you, man. Good for you. Seriously. Enjoy your unoverdriven amp, and you're such a good player you don't need one. God bless you. But you know what? Us mere mortals, the 99.9% of us down here that just play guitar and enjoy it, and guess what? John Petrucci uses an overdrive pedal.
Well, there you go.
You know what? Yngwie Malmsteen has an overdrive pedal. Steve Vai has an overdrive pedal, and some of these guys have signature overdrive pedals. What does that tell you? If John, that's the way I look at it. If John Petrucci needs one, I guess I need 5.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. So I think that this is, and I'm glad that we're having this conversation, and I appreciate you coming here and doing this because for anybody that's watching this,
there's 40 people watching.
That's awesome. Thank you. So for the guys that are watching this that are struggling and finding your magic tone with your Kemper or anything that you're playing through, what I humbly suggest for you to do is if you find an amp that sounds like, oh, this sounds great, but it just feels it doesn't support my playing. What you do is put in an overdrive, dial it in. I suggest this Green Scream. That's the most commonly used one.
Yeah.
Put the treble in the middle, put the volume all the way up, and put the gain all the way down. Start there and fine-tune it from there and massage it in, and you're going to find that your amp that you love the sound of is now going to be something that you love the feel of, and it's going to be amazing for you. And that's probably going to get you out of the rabbit hole a lot faster. Because really, picture yourself like this. You're at the bottom of the rabbit hole. You're lost. You're trying to figure out what the hell you're going to do. And an overdrive pedal is up there throwing a rope down to you going, dude, I'll pull you out.
Well, see, and that's been part of my problem is because I've never...
Yeah.
I had a view of overdrive pedals as, okay, it's another type of distortion.
Yeah, it's
and
not.
That's what I've been using. Or I could use it to boost a little bit and get some more distortion in there as well, but that's kind of been my view of it for for years. I mean,
Yeah.
It was great. So back in the day, I did have different overdrive pedals, but again, I was using that. Like what we talked about, I used the big old pink Thrashmaster, the Boss Thrashmaster, and then I had another. So when I wanted my metal tones, I'd use the Boss Thrashmaster. When I wanted the crunchy sounds, I'd use an overdrive, and that was it. I didn't use them in sync, in combination, or anything like that.
Well, the thing is that people have to keep in mind too. Again, get an overdrive pedal, but always back your gain down on your amp. Gain is your frenemy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need enough to get what you got to do, get done, and sound amazing, and do all that stuff. But too much, it just turns into this horrible, gooey, sloppy mess. So an overdrive pedal, you add that to it, you're not really adding more gain to the amp. You're just adding more aggression and push. And it's like fake gain. It feels like there's more gain there, but it can add enough aggression to like if your gain is at 7, and now it's like at 9 because you added the overdrive. Take that 7 and bring it down to 5. My gain's 5.5. That's what my gain's at on all my amps. Whenever I use them, that's my starting point, 5.5, just past noon. And then I put the overdrive on it, and if it's too much, I'll back it down to 5 or 4.5. That's kind of my range. And then for solos, I just nudge the gain maybe up to 6.
Okay.
And I just want something super responsive. And how I test it is when I'm doing solos and I grab a note and I yank it up into the stratosphere and it dies on me, either my gate's too strong or my overdrive or my gain's not enough. And I don't want gain to fill in all my mistakes. I just want it to hold those notes for me and give me that sustain that I like. I do a lot of dive bombs and a lot of crazy harmonic crap, and I tap harmonics. I want them to ping.
Right.
So when I tap that harmonic, it should ping. It shouldn't be like this dull, like, you know what I mean? It should ping really nicely, and that's how I adjust it. Once I get there, though, I stop. I won't put any more in because now it's too much.
Okay.
I want just enough, So that's how I do it.
That's like I say, one of the things we were talking about, the Kemper is able to pull more, like even all my Marshall amps, as soon as I plugged in, it's able to pull more out of the guitar than what the amp does.
Well,
and that's one thing I realized. And I think I honestly, by playing an amp, I think I've been missing out on some of the stuff I can do.
Well, the thing is, and I'm glad you said that, because, amps are great. Let's face it, you can't beat an amp and this and that. But the Kemper, what it does is it opens up opportunities to try amps that you never thought you would like.
Right.
Or to try amps that you thought you would like and find out you don't like, but at least you didn't waste $3,000 on the damn thing.
Exactly.
So, you know what I mean? So what this does is it allows you to do that, and if you get good profiles from somebody that makes really good profiles, like, there's a lot of great ones out there. These are Live Ready Sound ones tonight, and some of them weren't, but you'll find that you can really get a true representation of an amp and find out what you really like and what you don't like. And the pedals are there to try everything out too.
True.
So it allows you to really dive deep without, getting too far in. That's basically what I suggest for everybody. Find an amp that sounds great, add an overdrive pedal, dial it in properly. If it's a win, that's your sound, you know. And what I do too, and I'm going to make this suggestion for everybody, because I was in the rabbit hole and I made an episode about it. What you do is you get a handful of profiles. That's why they have a favorites folder. That. So you put a family of profiles in your favorite folder. It's kind of like and when you go to your favorite restaurant, there's like 10 things there that you'll order. So if they're out of this, you'll just order that and you'll enjoy your meal just as much. It doesn't matter, right? So what you do is you take your 5 or 10 favorite menu items, you put them in there, and depending on your mood that day, you just cycle through those, and they're good.
Yeah. Were you going to go over any clean tones?
Do you want to?
Do some Piezo's?
No, because
You're good on cleans?
I'm good on cleans, and like I say, I should have. I thought about that, but I don't know, maybe we'll do it again some other time too. But I have the Fender Acoustasonic, and so if I'm not, I don't do many cleans. If I do, it's going to be acoustic or
the piezo.
Not as much, no.
No.
I do. But it's not what I've been doing is I've been dialing in that Acoustasonic, and what I've been using on that is
Hissy.
1 second. Yeah.
see, it's not me.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah, so I've been dialing in more acoustic tones, and then I don't know if you also noticed because my Kemper's upstairs, and I have that was it the TC Electronics. I can't remember what the name of the pedal is. It's adds resonance.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
Well, that's the one. Where I got that one was I think it was like Sweetwater, or somebody was having interviews with a rig rundown John Petrucci,
okay.
and he says that's what he uses with his Piezo pickup to get more of a resonance, and it's the TC Electronics one.
The resonator?
It's something like that. Yeah, it really is.
That's what I call it.
It should be called the resonator.
Yeah.
It's got one knob on it, and one button. It's either
Body
on,
res?
body res. That's
Body
it.
res. Sorry, Jamie, the law.
He knows every pedal, every chord, every wire. Yeah, if you ever want to know anything about anything, Jamie Trevino's the guy.
But yeah, I get a really good acoustic sound from this using that. But then I'll also use my acoustic for that, because if I'm switching to acoustic, we're going to do a full.
Oh, I gotcha.
So
yeah, I have a really good piezo setting in here that serves me really well, and it sounds great for me. So when I'm using my acoustic type sounds, I flip up to that and step on that, and it sounds glorious. So
do you want to let him know what he liked?
Yeah, so let's let you know what your 9 was, because I mean, I think we found your tone. I really do. And
we only went through 4 or 5.
It doesn't take much.
Yeah, it doesn't take much.
You know, well,
but can I
if
guess?
you have a good guide.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
The first one, that's a Marshall.
Let's see. Let me find out.
Just going by tone. If it's not a Marshall, I'm stunned. Or it could be.
No, it's not. It's a Metropolis, which is basically their version of a Marshall.
I like that sound. That, to me, when I was sitting there, I'm like, okay, that's the Marshall amp. And I'm like sitting there going, no, it's not. Really.
Yeah, so that's very close, though, because it's a Metropolis. So just so everybody knows, that one was a 8.
8. That was the very first one.
And that's a live ready sound profile of a Metropolis amp. So just so everybody knows.
And then, but you tweaked that, and he gave it a 9 at some point.
That's right.
Yeah,
you're right.
What did you put on it?
They put the overdrive on it.
And we put the overdrive on it, which I would do anyways.
Yeah, the only thing I really, 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 I've never even heard of a Metropolis. Who is that?
They're made here in Michigan.
Really?
Yeah, Pete Metropolis. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. He makes great amps.
Never even heard of it, but I guess that's the advantage of the Kemper, being able to try and.
Yeah. So good advertising for Metropolis amps. So if you want that, I mean that's what that is. And again, it's live ready sound. I think it's Unchained. I think that's the name of the profile pack. It's Unchained. So the one you like though, the best was the PT100 from Live Ready Sound, which is Pete Thorne's signature amp from Sir. I knew you were going to like that. I didn't want to oversell it to you.
No, I really. And see, but that's funny. I've played in searching. I played a lot of Sir profiles, and I didn't like them.
They weren't live ready sound.
They weren't live ready sound. No, they were not. That's why I said I didn't like them, but I really, really that one felt the best. That felt.
Yeah, Aaron Short, if you're still in here, I think he is. He's a big fan of those.
Yeah.
He's a big fan. He said he picked it, and he literally just dialed it, just selected it, started playing immediately. It was like, I'm home. This is it. And he's an amp guy. He's got amps and stuff, and he's very familiar with how amps sound. So as soon as he hit the one chord on that, he called me. He's like, dude, this thing's amazing. And I'm like, I even asked him the other day, I was like, are you still searching for, like, he's like, no, there's no need to. It's glorious. Every time I play it, it's absolutely glorious.
Do you know what else is glorious? Peanut butter whiskey.
Peanut butter whiskey is very glorious.
Yeah, it is. Well, I'm glad we found your tone.
Yeah,
and see, so here's the thing. You're not done, and the reason why you're saying that is because none of us are done.
No.
You know, next month we're going to roll across something.
God help us all.
Yeah, it's going to sound amazing. But here's the thing. You know now. You have your bass line. You have your PT100 profile from Live Ready Sound that you're going to go back to and go, all right, I know this is good. I picked it in a blind test, and I know it's amazing. I've played it for a month or two. So that now, if I want to add something to my family of amps, this is like the tester.
What I should go. Yeah. See, well, that's what you open up. Those are 2 amps I never would have picked for myself ever.
That's why we did this.
Yeah, never would have picked it.
It's awesome doing it blind. It really is.
That's what I mean. You got to pick it with your hands and your ears, and that's why when I suggested that to you on the phone, and you were like, you know what? That sounds like a great idea. I'm like, thank God.
Well, no, because it's like, because I've been playing Marshall for years, and I've been like, okay, Marshall's it. Marshall's the one I want. And it's like, so that's what I've been searching for. Is I've been going down that rabbit hole after Marshall amps, and then you got me 2 amps that I never heard of.
Yeah.
Which I think I need to explore some more.
I would.
You look happy.
I do. I like that. I like that one. That was really good.
I think those are the two, that you can oscillate between and be like, and just keep it interesting. Like when you have a gig on Friday, you do one, and then next Friday you do the other, and it keeps things fun for you, and that's why that favorites folder and that little family of amps, are fun. And conversely, for this song, I'll use this one for that because they're similar enough where you're not going to throw off the sound guy,
right?
And I just think that just put that overdrive in there, get used to that. To you guys out there that are against overdrives and think you don't need them, I dare you to play one for a week. Play your amp with an overdrive pedal dialed in properly for a week, and then after a week's over, get up that morning on Saturday morning, play your guitar, and then turn it off.
I think we need to have another series of episodes called I Dare You.
Yeah, I dare you.
Help, I hate my Kemper, and I dare you.
I dare you to come over here and not use a pedal. No, but that's the thing. Like, as soon as you take it away, and there's this purist side in some of us that's like, yeah, but I shouldn't need that. Well, you do. You know what I mean? And it's not that you need it. Your amp needs it.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
And that's when you were doing, like, the first one, as soon as you put that on there, that it just, I mean, I didn't really notice much tone difference.
Yeah.
But the feel of it was...
The strings feel
changed.
better.
Yeah.
And it really... See, I'll give you guys a quick story. When I was younger, I used to have... I learned the wrong way. Okay? I learned everything the wrong way when I was a kid. So I got an amp, and then I had, a distortion pedal, and then I put a compressor in front of it because that's what the guy at the store said you do. So I put a compressor in front of it, and it was so screechy and noisy and just overly saturated. And I would play my solos, and I thought that I was so good because all my notes melted together, and there was not a lot of clarity. So I thought I was a good, clean player. And then one day I was like, well, I'm going to try one of these overdrive pedals everybody talks about. So I got the Boss, the yellow one. And I, of course, being, a young kid and being stupid, I turned the gain all the way up and the volume all the way up. And I'm like, metal, yeah, And it was like this big plethora of just disgusting filth coming out of my amp. And I'm like... I don't need one of these. It was like a crap-a-lanch coming out of my amp.
A crap-a-lanch. I love that. It's a crap-a-lanch.
It was so bad. And I'm like, I don't need one. This is just too much. And then later on in life, I ran into a friend and we were just kind of hanging out, playing guitar and whatever, and he had an overdrive pedal. In my mind, I'm like, those things are terrible. Why do you have one of those? But I didn't realize the whole time I was playing through his amp, it was on. And it sounded killer. Like every little palm mute, everything I was playing I was like, I love this amp. I didn't love the amp. I loved what the overdrive pedal did with the amp. And I was like, at that point, I was sold. And I was like, oh my God. So I did it wrong. I was doing it all wrong all this time. So now I got like 5 overdrive pedals. They're not all on at once. I cycle them out. But but I'm a huge fan of overdrives now. And I really think that, again, I'll say this again because it's that important. If you find an amp that you really love the tone of, kind of like what we did earlier, but it didn't feel right, you don't need to set it up the way I set it up because you're in a different genre of music than me. But
Right.
you set it up to the point where it gives you what you want when you're playing, and now together with that amp and that pedal, you're gold. You're
Right.
like, I can go anywhere and play anything. And that's like a nice little confidence booster. You know, when you hit those palm mutes and those chuggy chugs and the big open chords and some of the faster lead licks that you do, it'll be there for you. You know, so that's Carrie probably wants to read some comments, right?
They're talking to each other too. Derek just said, "I hope you continue with this series," but we will.
We will.
Somebody else needs to contact us and says, "I hate my Kemper."
Well, Chris Slapnick's coming on next month. Yeah,
Okay.
from Eva Under Fire. If you haven't heard of Eva Under Fire, you will. They're going to be a household name next year.
Yeah.
They're doing a huge. They're working with a huge record deal right now, and they're recording and doing all this really cool stuff. And Chris, I know you're sitting on your couch watching with your wife. You should probably say hi, because you're going to be in the hot seat next time. And they're going on tour and they're doing all these big shows and stuff that next year. And
they're a hard rock band.
Yeah, and they're getting set up with the whole band with Kempers because travel light.
Because traveling.
Yeah, you got to save money, right, to travel light.
Well, exactly, and that's the one thing I was showing you tonight. So these boards. Remember, I was showing
the temples,
yeah, which a lot of people, like I say, I didn't know this, and nobody else has ever said this, but the feet on the Kemper, when they unscrew, the screw holes actually line up with the little holes on there. That's
cool.
So you can actually
you can screw your pedal board right to it.
You can screw your pedal board right to it, so you're not going to. So what I did is I got 4 of the large plates underneath,
I saw that,
and then screwed it in as well. It's never coming off that board.
Yours is cemented on there.
It is. Well, it's like I didn't want it to get damaged or whatever. So it's
Yeah, that's awesome. That so I mean, you wanted to read something?
Half hash says we should make Crapalanche t-shirts. Right. Let's see. Derek also said he was the one that said he hopes we continue with the series. He said maybe have the camera pointed at the Kemper to show how you're tweaking things.
I can do that. It's a great suggestion. I tried doing that on a live stream a couple weeks ago or a month ago or so.
It was where we had the blurry.
Yeah, you couldn't see this. You got to get a perfect angle, and these webcams.
And be still.
Yeah.
Because any motion.
Yeah, that was the other thing. As soon as my hand crossed the lens, it was like it had to refocus, and it couldn't.
Yeah.
So I got to get some better cameras, but I mean, I'm working on that. But that is a great suggestion, it really is.
They said have a segment called Jarrod's Analogy of the Week. He is the analogy king, I am telling you.
It works for me sometimes.
It does. I don't know where you come up with them either.
Yeah,
and it's natural. It just rolls out. Yes, he repeats some of them, but he'll have new ones that he's gifted, man.
It happens.
Gifted with the analogies.
I'm a gifted blabbermouth, I guess.
Right.
If you're going to be a blabbermouth, be good at it, I guess, right?
Warm Chord Music said, plethora of disgusting filth sounds like a new metal band.
Are you guys
we should have used that when we were looking for a name.
Yes,
when
you
we were
have
looking
another
for a
one.
band name, it was like that was...
Put your hands together for a plethora of disgusting filth.
Honestly, though, that's a lot of what we heard.
That's hilarious. Hey, Mom, can I go see a plethora of disgusting filth tonight? No, you can't, Junior.
Sebastian says, since I met the Precision Drive, I no longer use the other OD.
Dude, I'm telling you, the Precision Drive is my jam, and I'd suggest that for you as well.
Okay.
It's the thing I like about it is there's a tight knob.
Okay.
And it's like sections it goes into. So however tight you want your amp or loose you want it, it sculpts just enough out for you, and they're great settings, and it has twice the headroom as other overdrive pedals. So it has like where it's at on 5, others are at 10.
Okay.
So you got all that headroom. So I mean, I don't even have my volume past 2 o'clock on mine, and the gain is probably at 6 o'clock's all the way off. I probably have it at 6:30 just to be a jerk. I just put it up just a little bit because it's like I paid for that. I want a little bit,
Yeah.
So I did that, and then tones in the middle, and then my tight knobs at like 1 notch up because I had it 2 notches up. and depending on the amp, it cut out too much low end, so I put it back a notch, and I was like, wow, it's perfect. It's tight, it's very percussive, but it still has that fullness that I like so much, you know, so.
Warm Chord Music asks, Jarrod, I thought you didn't like the precision drive in front of your Kemper.
Yeah, great question. You know why? Because I did it wrong. You got to put it, well, I don't know. Maybe some updates have changed, because Jamie Trevino, you can attest to this as well. When I first got my Kemper, we put the overdrive, the precision drive, in front of it, and it just cut all the greatness right out. It was just really thin, and I'm like, what the heck? And then when I put it in the effects loop, you know, in front of the amp, and there's a effects loop setting called distortion. It's 4 distortion pedals. I don't know what it does, but it helps that, and it sounds great with that. And I would never suggest putting the overdrive pedal in front of the Kemper anyways physically, because when you go to your clean tone, now you're doing the river dance, because you got to do the clean tone and shut the pedal off. If you put it in the loop and you just don't have that loop activated in your clean tone, you don't have to worry about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it turns on and off wherever you want it.
Yeah,
So-
that's one of the things I've been playing with, because even the stage, I guess, has actually more
loops. Yeah.
So
many loops.
So many loops.
So many loops.
Yeah, there's 3 on here, so you can put whatever you want in there, and it works really well. So I would suggest heavily embracing the overdrive side of things, because I really think that it's one of those pedals that, there's pedals that I have that you can give me or take them away, and I don't care. They're just kind of like, I like it, but I can't. It's not something I can't live without. You take away my overdrive, and I will chase you down the road. I can't do what I do without it, and it's not for lack on my part, because again, Petrucci uses one.
Right.
You know, and I know you're watching, John Petrucci. I know you are. And, yeah. If you come out with
The
a signature
Savage
one, I'll buy it.
1969 says, help, I hate my empty Crown and Coke glass. He'll be right back. Right?
Peanut butter whiskey is what he
It's
needs.
not empty yet.
Yeah, I got an ice cube in mine. Yeah, I drank all mine. I want to thank you for bringing over the whiskey. Tell us what you brought over before we close out for the night.
Okay, so the first one, which is my favorite this year, so like I was telling you, since I got it, I found it in March and stuff, and I have gone through 8 bottles.
Oh my
of
God.
Stuff. But it's
It's so good.
it's Screwball peanut butter whiskey, and
It's so good.
it is so good.
It's amazing. It really is.
Yeah. So, and then the other one I did is Old Dickles Tabasco Barrel Aged.
That was really good too.
And it's the finish. It doesn't taste like Tabasco going down. It's the finish.
Yeah.
It's it's a really good, smooth sipping whiskey.
Yep.
And then at the end, you get that just
Little
that
warm.
little warm, little sweet, and
But it's
and
good.
It's really good,
So
and smooth.
good. Yeah.
And then the other one is the
Salted caramel.
salted
Yeah,
caramel.
that one was good too.
Don't remember who makes that one.
It's a flat bottle. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
flat. I keep wanting to say Old Granddad, but that's not it. It's one of the big moonshine makers. They made it. So
Very good. Thank you so
Yeah.
much again
Oh,
for bringing
no
this.
problem.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Let's
enjoyed
talk about some upcoming episodes, because we've got another fight night coming up the first
Yep.
Sunday of the month, first
Yep.
Sunday of October.
Was that the October 6th?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we're going to have fight night with, and I want to thank Line 6 for
Yes.
coming through and saying that they would send me the Power Cab 2x12, which is a new product that is about to be launched in the market.
Did you get it? Is it here?
It's coming on Tuesday. So I got
Tuesday.
tracking numbers the other day, and I'm just like, waiting for it to get here. So that is going to that is going to compete against my favorite cab, which is right there, which is the Friedman, and Paul is bringing over his CLR, Atomic CLR, which it's been like the Eleanor.
Yeah.
Of, if you guys are car fans, it's been my Eleanor. I can't find one. And Paul reached out to me out of nowhere. He's like, hey, I got
out of nowhere, out of Waterford. Where
I know, and he's local, and it's just like, really? Like, oh my God. So we're going to have all 3 of them Titans here,
yeah,
and they're going to be battling it out for first place. And
Jarrod has finished our epic intro.
Yeah, our epic intro. You got to see that tonight.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's interesting. You did better than I did, but
you were tired that night.
I was super tired. But so we're gonna use this mic and we're gonna place it perfectly in the room so that you guys can hear the cabs too. You know, so we want to bring you guys in on the action so you guys can hear the cabs. I will work my butt off to make sure that it sounds good because I want it to sound good for you guys too. And so yeah, it's gonna be a blind test, and we're gonna see who wins at the end of the night. I'm really excited about that.
That's right.
And what's coming up next week?
We haven't talked about next week.
Yeah,
we've already done Anastasi night. Yeah. We did a Hate Kemper night.
Well, it'll be
maybe it'll be Jarrod's 57-second Kemper promo video.
I want to announce a new game show that we're doing.
Yeah.
And I finally came up with a title for it.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's called the Digital Platform Interface Race.
Digital Platform Interface Race.
Yeah, or just Interface Race.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. But what we're going to do is...
That didn't... It was very anticlimactic.
Well, that's because I set it up too hard. It's called the Interface Race, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to have two digital platforms, like a Kemper and let's say a Headrush or a Helix or something like that. And Carrie is going to call out like a thing where it's like, I need this amp with these effects on it. And go. And then I'm going to race up against the guest with the other profile or the other platform, and we got to get to the to dial all that stuff in first. And there's an A/B switch on the floor, and we'll be wearing our guitars. So whoever gets to it first steps on the switch associated with them and hits a big old chord and like, all right, I made it, And then we got to test and make sure everything's there that's supposed to be. So we're doing this. It's a fun way to see how fast you can use these interfaces and which one is faster than the other. So the winner of that race goes up against the next guy.
Do you know what I think we need? We need a bell for every time somebody gives us a super chat.
Oh.
Thank you. The Savage 1969. Thank you
very much.
New cab stream hype. Nice.
Yeah, means a lot to us. Thank you very much. And yeah, so it's going to be fun with the interface race. I thought that would be a really neat way because
that's a cool one.
Yeah, so there's a lot of times people are like, oh, this one's better, the interface, the screen's better, and this and that. And it's like, all right, well, let's prove it. Let's see if one really is better than the other. How long does it take you to dial in a good metal amp with like an overdrive pedal, some delay, some chorus, and some reverb? And just like ready, set, go, and then we're gonna. I think that's going to be really fun. And she gets to be the boss that night and tell everybody what to do.
Wait, just that night?
Well.
Who is the boss?
That's the night we let her think she's in charge.
Okay.
It's officially, she thinks she is. So.
Well, again, we've got the t-shirts. T-shirts for $20 for the t-shirt, $5 for shipping and handling. We have one bowling shirt left. It'll be $45, $40 for the shirt, $5 for shipping and handling. The bowling shirt we only have an XL in. The other t-shirts we have small, medium, large, and extra large. Thank you so much for all of you that have purchased already.
Yes.
The money has been put to good use.
Thank
to
you.
Promote the show
we're doing all this stuff here and making the set better.
Yes.
Well, let's wrap up with this. What are your final thoughts? Like, what do you think? What's your takeaways from this? What are you going to be thinking about on your way home?
I'm probably going to be thinking more on the overdrive pedal, putting that in front. Yeah. But
good.
Also,
that's a win.
With playing more on the bridge pickup.
Okay. That's
because, like I say, I found a lot of things that sounded good on the bridge, but not on the neck at all.
Okay.
And that was my stroke because I play a lot more on the neck. So some of this I might need, again, putting the overdrive. So basically, it's basically another evolution to my playing. That's what it's going to be.
Wow, that's great to hear. It really is. What else? I don't want to cut you off.
No, that's like I say. Those are the big ones. Because like I say, I've been noticing. It's been more. I've been noticing other bands where you can't hear one guitarist or you can or whatever. And I've been actually thinking about it. It's been one of those things in the back of my head and stuff. Now, we have filmed ourselves, and I watch those films, and like I say, and even everybody else says I stand out more than everybody else. But
maybe you're just too loud.
That could be it too. That's
yeah, leave it to her to say that.
You're never loud enough.
That's right.
But one of the things is getting some more of that sound, especially like I say, using an overdrive, playing more on this, and exploring more on this. It's one of those you gotta think about, but you gotta go home and you gotta practice it. You gotta try it.
You gotta get used to it.
Make it part of your routine.
You gotta kind of retrain your ears to know these things and everything. And I'm so glad that you came.
Yes.
I'm so glad that we had a chance to have dinner and some of the best whiskey we've ever had. Great conversation, and I'm so glad that you were open-minded to come on here, because it's a lot. It's a lot to ask somebody to come on here and be like, trying to find my tone, and you're looking for a supportive environment for that, and I hope that we provided that for you.
Yeah, I really want to thank you both
it's our pleasure
for having me and stuff like that. Because like I say, I learned a lot.
Good.
I really did. And I got some more processing I got to do, and it's like basically I want to spend a lot of time sitting at home playing different pickups and stuff. And then I got a whole new series of amps.
Right.
The Live Sound PT100 is like a killer profile pack, and there's probably like 70 in there.
Oh,
so
nice.
So we just picked one of those. So there's so many different little inklings of different flavors of that in there. So you know what I mean. So that's what's so great about these profile packs.
There's the peanut butter flavor.
Yeah,
and the salted caramel flavor.
Tabasco flavor. Yeah, feeling a little hot.
Or you can mix all three of them up. And go rob a store. I don't know. I mean, it's so nice, So that I want to thank Tim from Live Ready Sound for sending these. He sent them. Yeah. He spent a lot of time putting packets together for me and sending them to me. Some of them at the last minute too. So Tim, you're awesome.
Thank you.
And I highly suggest that you buy his profiles, because they're my favorites. Yeah. I mean, I love them. And I think that they're great. Tim's a very good, honest guy, and he makes great profiles. So get those. And the one thing I'd like to say in closing is thanks everybody for watching. We really appreciate the support for the channel. It's growing like crazy, and we're always wanting to give you guys like content that you can't get anywhere else. You know what I mean? Creative stuff that we just come up with. And thank you for trusting us and sharing an evening with us. And this kind of went different than I thought it would, and I'm glad it did, because it went in a way where, yes, we found you a profile that worked for you, but we also found two that worked for you. But this is a triple win, because you're walking away with more information, like with the overdrives, different pickups, and because you know what I mean. So I think that's great.
My plan, or at least goal, when I came here was like, okay, we'll get me a good Kemper tone and stuff like that that I'm gonna like. Now I've come away with, okay, I need to explore some more overdrive stuff. I need to use this pickup more. And it's kind of, like I say, it's an older style of what I've been doing. Sure. But again, that always worked in the past. But what worked in the past doesn't always work in the future.
Sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes, and sometimes, like, it's not always the profile. Sometimes it's our approach to the profile, and we need to change a little bit of what we're doing too. And then when you merge the change of ourselves into a profile that we find works for us, and all of a sudden you blend those two things together with the information that you learn and the growth that you have, and then you put that into that profile. Now you got this magic kind of thing going on here, and you got this great symbiotic relationship with it. So I'm so glad that we did this. I learned a lot, and I hope that everybody out there learned a lot as well. And seriously, really enjoyed having dinner with you. And,
thank you.
And we're gonna have another sip of whiskey upstairs afterwards. So cheers to everybody. Thank you so much for watching this. Please share it with your friends. I will cheers you with
your ice
with an ice cube.
With my water.
Water.
Thank you very much for watching, guys, and we will see you next time.
Good night.